Hi, my name is Gary White. I'm the founder of High Definition Coaching, and I welcome you to join me in a unifying conversation. You know, today more than ever, we need to be active in unifying conversations. Unity is forged through empathy. It's sustained by selflessness. It's seen through our service to others, and it really begins with the influencers. And that's why we need to be having these conversations. Now let's get started. Hey everyone, this is Gary White with High Definition Coaching and an executive director with the John Maxwell team. And thanks again for coming back to this next episode of Unifying Conversations. And today I have with me a dear friend, Robin Butler. Robin's in Virginia. And Robin, if you would just take just a few minutes and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Sure, Gary. Well, first of all, let me start off with the thank you to you for this opportunity. I'm very grateful to share on this platform with you. So thank you for that, my friend. Just a little bit about my background. My background has been in human resources for the past 25 years. And so I found my niche in helping people. And that's what I said I wanted to do many years ago. And I was afforded the opportunity to do that through in various ways, you know, over my career of 25 years. And so most recently, I made a pivot in the pandemic, and God allowed me to transition to where I am now doing my business full time. It's Catalyst Consulting Agency. And what I'm doing now is a little bit of HR consulting, as well as still coaching and speaking virtually, since we're in this time frame right now, and just offering a myriad of services to individuals as well as organizations. And so that's what I'm doing, as I build my platform just solely as an entrepreneur now.
That's all. You know, you said something that just sparked pivoting in the pandemic, and I thought, oh my goodness, she's
Yeah.
she's on to something. Robin's on to something. That's cool. Yeah. So, and Robin, before we end up, I want you to tell everybody how they can get a hold of you and if they'd like to learn about and work more with you. But Robin, I'm interested. You know, we've had lots of conversations, you and I, and but here's a great question: who has influenced you the most in your life, and why? Because what I know is we don't get to where we are without some measure of influence. So who's influenced you most in your life, and why?
Gary, you know, I don't have to search far. I would say that my father, Robert Ellis is his name, Robert Ellis Sr., has influenced me the most. Why? My father, I grew up in the home of a pastor. My father was in the military as well, and he accepted his calling to ministry very young. And I would say about my father, just non-judgmental, very balanced, and that's what I love about him. And so he's influenced me to be a better leader. He's influenced me not to make, you know, knee-jerk reactions. You know, we grew up in a family where my father allowed us, you know, in our day growing up, I would say children were seen and not heard, but my father dispelled that myth, and he allowed us to speak with respect, of course, but it just, I believe, positioned me for life, you know, not feeling like I was silenced and that I had a voice. And so I feel like my father was very influential in my formative years. And even now I can pick up the phone and he's going to have advice. He's going to have something that's going to impact me. So he's very intentional about life and how he treats people. And one of his famous quotes, you know, I would say my dad would always say, "It's nice to be nice." So I would say definitely my father.
Wow, that's neat. It's nice to be nice. You know, it sounds like he really empowered you, Robin, and how empowering that is. I just picked up on that. You said that you didn't feel like you had to be silenced, like he gave you a voice, and how powerful that is, you know, when someone gives you a voice, isn't it? Yeah. So Robin, you know, we don't have to look far either to know what's going on today in our world, and the racial divide, and so many horrible things that we see.
Mhm.
Part of the reason I want to have this conversation with you, Robin, is I've never really asked you this question. I've never asked you this question. And I just think, out of respect, maybe I should ask you this question and just let's bring it all to the surface. And so, if I were to ask you this, Robin, what has been your experience with racial injustice or inequality or prejudice? What has been your experience?
So, Gary, I would say my experience did not come, as I mentioned, my formative years with my father. My father was in the military. We traveled, and my father exposed us to a lot. We were raised that everybody is somebody. And because we were raised like that, we were able to embrace everyone. Being military children, we had neighbors of all different races. We were diverse. And, I mentioned, before that my father's a pastor. And so interestingly enough, we were taught to love, and we were not, well, this category is this, that category is that. As military children, I can honestly say that was not, what I experienced in my youth. Now, as I got older and started my career, I would say, Gary, where I experienced, unfortunately, discriminatory behavior or feeling like I wasn't valued or that I didn't fit in, it was really, unfortunately, in my career as an HR professional. I once had a leader to, say to me, and it was totally out of context. And as a woman, as an African-American woman, it was very uncomfortable, and so just the language, one of the things that was said to me was, what about if I duct tape your mouth and duct tape you to a chair? Now, of course, I was frozen in that moment, and I was mortified because I had never experienced anything like that before. But immediately my mind went to, I'm like, okay, is this more so about lynching? Is this more so about, physical assault or rape? But it was a very uncomfortable time. And for that to be someone in a leadership role made me feel uncomfortable. Other things I would say where it was probably a little bit of not a direct situation of racism, but definitely felt and understood, was promotional opportunities. There were opportunities where I know I had the experience, I had the education to for certain roles or for certain opportunities, but they were not given to me. And I know it was because I did not look like, the person that should be in those roles. And so, unfortunately, Gary, those are, things that I've encountered, when it comes to discriminatory behavior or not feeling like I was included.
Yeah. Wow, Robin, I didn't know that. And we've had some conversations, but you're sharing with me some things now that we, I've just never asked the question and
Mm-hmm.
never understood it. So, Robin, tell me the effect that has on you, because Robin, as I know you, without ever asking those questions, without ever knowing you've had those experiences, I see you as someone very confident, very strong. I see you as a great leader. I see you as someone that I would certainly follow. So I think it's very helpful for us all to understand whenever you get shots like that,
Mm-hmm.
Robin, what do you do with shots like that? Tell me how you rebounded through that, or how you carried through that.
So, Gary, I rely on my faith. I can just honestly say that my faith in God has helped to help me to get through those situations. I think, I reflect, I journal quite a bit. And, the advice I would give for getting through those things is, look at yourself and who you are. I can't be anyone other than who I really am. And I know I'm created in his image and in his likeness. And with that, I would just say, those darts that are thrown at me, how do I rebound and how do I figure out where I do fit in? How do I make a change? I said at the beginning that my goal, being in the career that I was in human resources as a leader, was to help people. And so I would find other avenues to take the pain, to take the frustration and pour it into others. I feel like it has made me a more effective coach. I believe it has made me a more effective leader overall because those opportunities. I say to people sometimes, we have to experience some things and some situations, and I think it makes us tougher. It makes us stronger. And I often talk about, to my clients, tenacity and fortitude, right? And I think these are the things that help to build us. And, if we never experience anything, how can we really share our story with somebody? And I think these are just all of the pieces of the puzzle that we're made up to be. And I think if I'm able to reach back, you asked me that question, and I was able to reflect back on that time. But now I have a story that I can share with somebody else to help them through a similarly situated circumstance if they were to experience something like that.
I picked up on you said to help them through. And so that indicates somewhere that you're going to. So I've got to ask you that question, Robin, because it comes to my mind. Tell me what your vision is. Tell me, you've gone through. Tell me where you're going to. I just love where you're going.
Where I'm going to, Gary, I'm so excited about the season of my life. And, how we, as many of our mentors would say, we've been given a promotion and we've been able to accelerate. And so where I'm going to, I think about the name of the business, and it's Catalyst Consulting Agency, a spark in your innovation to lead, to learn, enrich, aspire, and discover your passion, purpose, and potential. And Gary, I would sum that up by saying 3-piece soup. That's what I teach people. What are the ingredients to your 3-piece soup? What's your passion? What's your purpose? And what's your potential? And so helping you to go through, to get to lead.
Wow, that's good. I'm sold. I'm sold. Sign me up. Sign me up. Okay. So, Robin, as you help people go through and you really help align their vision, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me ask you this. If you were going to be a catalyst,
Mm-hmm.
by the way, I know you're going to be. If you were going to be a catalyst to bring unity in our communities, and there's so many parts of our communities. There's the family segment, there's the workplace segment, there's the marketplace segment, there's the worship place segment. If you were going to bring unity in our communities, Robin, tell me what you would be thinking and what you would do.
If I was going to bring unity in our community, I would say to be a voice, to, as I mentioned, not being silent, and to really understand the value of people. I mentioned that, earlier that everyone was important. And I often share with people that I am called to help that CEO, but I'm also called to help that janitor that cleans that CEO's office. And so I believe that is where I make a difference. In my years of human resources, I'll quickly share, one time a young lady said to me, it's just, a few months ago before I exited my former employer. And she just said, Robin, I can really appreciate you because you always speak to us. And I just was wondering, I'm like, And I said, well, wait a minute, why do you say that? She said, because everybody does not. And so it made me think and reflect on the passage in the Bible that talks about the least of these, Gary. And I just really believe that that's where I am, and I'm called to impact the lives by being intentional. Our mentor teaches us to be intentional, and we must be intentional about everything that we do. And so I believe that bringing people together of different races, creeds, cultures, and bringing them together, I think is what is important, and what I believe that I'm called to do through the courses that I teach, through speaking engagements, through Gary, you and I share a passion for singing, and we've talked about the song Red and Yellow, Black and White. They're all precious in His sight, right? And so I believe that's where my passion is, and that's what I believe that I'm called to do. And so in this moment, in this hour, my thing is understanding people and the value that each person brings to the table.
Robin, that's very inspiring, and our listeners, I know that you'll want to get a hold of Robin. I know that you would like to have Robin come speak to your company. You may like Robin to come speak to your group. And Robin, can you tell the listeners how they could get a hold of you?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook at Robin K. Ellis Butler. You can find me on Instagram at Robin K. Butler, as well as Twitter. And you can reach me on my website at www.johnmaxwell.com/Robin Butler. I'm in the process of going through a rebranding. And so you will also be able to find me on www.catalystconsultingagency.com very soon.
Consulting agency. Love that. Hey, listen, we want you to be inspired by this, everyone. We want you to go have your unifying conversations. And Robin, thank you so much for being here. And everyone, I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Robin, let's stay on the line, and I'll let everybody go. We'll circle up and go back in.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. If you would like to know how you can have your own unifying conversations, or if you would like to contact us for more information about high definition coaching, we can be contacted at Gary@highdefinitioncoaching.com, Gary@highdefinitioncoaching.com. I hope you have a unified day, and we'll see you next time.